everyone, welcome to Conversation with the Best series where we sit down with beautiful minds shaping the next generation of food scientists here in our department. So, good day, everyone. And today I have the honor of speaking with someone who truly needs no introduction. She's our most loved female lecturer, the amazing Dr. Mrs. Lawal. Thank you so much today for doing this with us, ma.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so to our first question. Mommy, you taught us some of the most fundamental courses in this program: food chemistry, food processing, and food law. So those are like three different areas. So I want to know which one of these that you find the most fascinating personally, and what was it that drew you into this food science in the first place? Because most people even think it is food. So what did you say? What do you actually see in this food science?
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm so delighted that you have this kind of initiative, because food science as a discipline is generally misunderstood. People out there don't really know what we do. Yeah, it's just for you to be cooking. It's not just, they don't know the difference between us and those that are doing catering and hotel management. So this is a very good opportunity to let people know exactly what we do. As food scientists, we're looking into the components of food, what the food is made up of. So when you are talking about discipline like food chemistry, like food processing, like food law, they are all exciting. To me, I find all of them very exciting. But I'll tell you the differences that people might not know. People out there, I expect you to know. Okay? So, food chemistry is what you can refer to as the why of food. Why? Why would you put yeast inside dough and then it becomes bigger? Why will you apply it to flour and it becomes brown? When you're looking at caramelization, enzymatic reaction, all these are phenomena that are very exciting in food chemistry. So that's why I love food chemistry. However, food processing is what you can refer to as the how of food science, because this is how you see food coming to life. When you put things together, when you formulate, in food product development, by the time you process it, you see the food coming to life. So you have the opportunity of seeing what you have learned in the laboratory being brought out in the open. And of course, food law also is very, very exciting, because it teaches you about the rules and regulations guiding food. What you should do as a food entrepreneur, what you shouldn't do. So I find the three areas very, very exciting. But if you ask me any day, I think I'll pick food chemistry, because I love seeing things being practicalized. I love seeing the science behind food. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much, Mommy. Okay, so Mommy, the next question is actually for the general public. As we all know, in Nigeria, it's very common that when people make their stew, they'll keep warming it over and over instead of them to put it in the fridge. So what do you think that... Okay, we have some that don't actually have fridge, and a lot of us grew up in this kind of setting. So from your knowledge as a food scientist, what is actually happening to that food each time we re-eat it? What is the right thing that we should also do?
Thank you for that question. It's like a public enlightenment opportunity for me. You see, in every home, we always have stew. We have other food like rice, like beans. And in those days, the days of our forefathers, they don't keep food the way we used to keep food. They eat fresh food every day. But with technology, we have realized that you don't need to be cooking every day. So what do? we keep our food under refrigerated conditions or inside freezers, and then we warm them up. We reheat them. Now, food matrix is such that microorganisms are always hibernating, waiting for the right opportunity, the right environment to spread, to grow. So, if your food is between 5 degrees to 40 degrees, normal ambient temperature, the microorganisms have more opportunities to grow. So, what happens is that when you reheat the food, once the heat is applied to maybe about 70 and above, the microorganisms all die off. So, at least a lot of them. There are some that are very stubborn, they are very stable, and they don't die easily. But for most harmful microorganisms, they die off. And your food is safe to eat. But what happens is, after that warming of the food, some people still leave the food at room temperature. Say, tomorrow morning I'll eat it. And then the next morning, they go and eat the food. That is where the problem is. Because if you eat that kind of food that has been allowed to stay under ambient temperature for more than 2 hours, the microorganisms are already growing. They are at their full capacity in the food. And when you eat such food, there might be danger. So that is why we advise people that, okay, if you know you don't want to eat this food at this particular moment, keep it inside the freezer. When you keep it in the freezer, the microorganisms have no opportunity to grow because the environment is very unfriendly for them. So they wait until the environment becomes more favorable. And that is why when you bring your food out of the freezer, you heat and then you consume it. If you leave it out in the open for some more hours and then you want to eat it without eating it, there could be danger. So that is what happens when you reheat your food. And of course, you know, these days, in the days of just warming the food inside pots, you can't really guarantee the safety of that food. But now we have microwave oven. So microwave oven, all it does is it brings the heat from the outside and goes right into the food to eat up everywhere. So when you eat it, all the microorganisms are dead, and then you are free to enjoy your food.
Yes, thank you very, very much, Mommy. So our last question, which is for the 100 level and the 200 level, the 200 level students, and you know, they are still kind of finding their footings. You know, they are wondering if food science, like, what it would really be for them. And you know, some people, I think they even dash them the course. They do not pick it. So what would you like to say to them? Like, what does the future of food science look like, especially here in Nigeria? I think it even applies for 500 level, because some of us now, we're finishing school and we're thinking, how will after school life be and everything. So what do you have to say to us, ma'am?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start by advising the 100 level students, and then I'll move to the final list, 500 level. You see, everything that is worth doing is worth doing well. The fact that you have either found yourself in food science, or you put yourself in food science by deliberately picking food science, you are here to stay. 5 years. So the next 5 years is what you need to look forward to. And while you are in this program, give it your best. 100 level students is to focus on why they are here and ensure that by the time they are graduating with good grades, because there's no room for regrets. Yes, if you finish as a finalist, you have your bachelor's, and then it's time to start looking for opportunities, and you keep hearing things like, oh, if only you had first class or 2-1, it would have helped you. That brings a lot of regrets, because and I could have done well, and I should have paid attention to my studies, because that is what happens now. For every opportunity out there, there are about 2,000 people for one opportunity. Scholarships abroad, universities abroad, they say, okay, we want to give scholarship, maybe 4. And do you know the number of people that applied? 20,000. So they're looking for how to weed people, like those that we can cut off. And the only way they can do that is to look at the grades that the person graduated with. So once you are here, give it your best. As an 100 level student, you have to do so many CBT courses. Stick to studying them because CBTs are not easy. You have multiple choices and they're all so similar. So you do your best to ensure that you get maximum mark in all your courses. Don't say, I don't like that lecturer, so I don't need to read his course. You are shooting yourself in the leg. Whether you like the lecturer or not, make sure you pass very well in his or her course. That is your responsibility. Your parents have done their best by bringing you here, paying your school fees, ensuring you are comfortable. I know how much you guys pay for hostel. It's not easy. So all that, you should not allow it to go down the drain. At 100 level, it's not the time to start chasing after boys or chasing after girls. It's a time to sit down and seriously do. And I know that for a lot of people, their 100 level results are always very good because this was no distraction. It's 200 that is a wahala. Because by then, you are beginning to become a stellar. So there's that joint over there. So people do go clubbing here in Akure too. And then distractions will start coming. And that is the time you need to watch it the most. Devise a means of studying that you'll be able to assimilate. Don't wait until exam period before you start cramming. Devise means of getting your notes in good order so that when it's time to read, you are reading the right thing. And then don't rely only on the materials you are given in class. A lot of students made that mistake. They didn't teach us, so they don't know it. Rather, look at your course synopsis. What are the number of things you need to know? Make it your business to go on the internet. Thank God there's Wi-Fi on campus. Go on the internet, look for materials that can help you understand more the concept that you have been taught. So that's for the 100 level. Now for the 500 level students, I would say it's not too late to change your ways if you have not been serious in your studies. My advice is, this is the last leg. You know, when you are running a marathon and you keep passing the baton, the last person to take the baton determines what happens at the end of the day. So even if the race has been all smooth and the person, the last leg is wobbly, they might not win the race. But once that last leg is solid, you can be sure you win the race. And then of course, the opportunities out there for 500 level students. You either decide, do I want to be an entrepreneur? Because we're in food science, we are professionals. We are not people that would depend on taking CV up and down, looking for jobs. We already have the jobs cut out for us. Look at the world population, it's growing every day. As of today, the world population has hit over 8 billion. The more the population, the more the demand for food. People eat every day. There is nobody that does not eat. We all eat. We all must eat. So we have our job cut out for us. As food scientists, you either decide you want to go into academia, or you want to go into industry, or you want to set up your own business. If you decide to set up your own business, you have all the information. I'm hoping that there will be a time in Nigeria where nobody will be allowed to sell or engage in food business without having a food scientist in the organization. Because you see the word out there in Nigeria especially, a lot of people that have no business in food, they are in business. They are selling food. They are having food processing units, yet they know jack about food science. While we, the food scientists, are like, why are they doing this thing now? It shouldn't be like this now. This is the time for us to make our impact. You know, if you look at the pharmaceutical industry, if you are not a trained pharmacist, you are not allowed to sell drugs. You are not allowed to open a pharmacy. But In Nigeria, we don't have that legislation in place. So I'm looking forward to a future where there'll be a legislation that will mandate all food establishments to have a food sciences in-house before they're allowed to do that. They do that abroad. In overseas, like advanced countries, if there's no qualified food scientists in an organization, they will not be accredited. They will not even be allowed to go into food business because they know that they can kill if they are doing the wrong things. So for the 500 level students going out there in the world, please don't depend on one uncle will find me a job, one auntie will help me. What can I do? How can I make an impact? What little knowledge that I've gained, how can I expand on it and make sure I make the best of it? Good luck.
Wow, and this has been really incredibly insightful. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your honesty. And it's not just for us as food scientists, but for everyone watching out there.
Definitely.
And we truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for
You're
your time.
welcome. My pleasure.
Hi.